Lake of Voices is a story that forces you to accept that there is no perfect way to handle dire times and asks you to decide what and who is going to be sacrificed. Hi folks! With those ominous words, we are gonna begin this video. I'm Catherine and today we are playing a visual novel called Lake of Voices. The author of this game is GB Patch and it was published in January 22nd, 2018. If you wish to read the longer story summary or check out the trailer, take a look at this video's description. You can find all the additional information from there. The visuals of this game look amazing and I can't wait to see what kind of story this is going to be. Choices. You'll need to make various decisions throughout Lake of Voices. Here are a few details to keep in mind. Certain choices are timed. Oh no. Okay. Time running out isn't something to completely avoid. In some cases, not getting involved can open new possibilities. Other choices aren't timed. These options only determine whether Kikka has any special affection for another character or not. Okay, I'm gonna pronounce this name like I would pronounce it if I would be speaking Finnish. I've never heard this name being used in any other language, so this is my first time encountering the name Kikka in this kind of context, so I'm gonna pronounce it like I would pronounce it in Finnish during this playthrough. So, if you survive until the second night, the story will branch into one of 5 different plot lines based on your earlier decisions. The other characters cannot manage all situations in the various plotlines regardless of what you do. Oh boy. Okay. If a character isn't making it, try getting that plot with a different set of survivors or having the same group of characters venture through some other storyline. Okay. Becoming closer to someone can add and / or remove future choice options and change how some scenes play out. Your decision to build that connection may not go unnoticed by the other characters. Earning the full amount of affection with certain characters can require getting into specific plot lines. Okay, we'll see how this is gonna go. I'm nervous. My grip on my lantern tightens as the fog around us thickens. While the forests in this area are relatively safe compared to Sinless, I can't help but feel my hair stand on end the further we get. My free hand fingers the hilt of my sword, something akin to a nervous reflex. Yeah, I'm nervous too, I know.
Have you seen it before?
Oh, what a beautiful voice. So, we are playing as Kikka, and this person is Bemel. Have I seen what before? Bemel breaks the silence, either sensing my unease or assuaging his own. I hope it's the latter.
I haven't. I've had no reason to go near this cursed lake until now. What of you?
Bemel scratches his chin casually, as though I asked what his favorite food is.
I traveled a long way around it once before. Not so pleasant. Something about it just frays your nerves. Although, even being near it is enough.
Sounds ominous again. So I'm not the only one who feels it. A sense of relief hits me, but not enough to undo the buzzing of anxiety. The lake, sinless, most try their best to avoid it all their lives. The hundreds who die attempting to cross its unearthly black water, dragged to death by the creatures lurking within, aren't a secret.
No wonder you were assigned this mission.
There are few who've had first-hand experience with the place, even if from a distance. He'll probably keep being picked whenever they need someone to cross for however long he's with us. Bemel shrugs, bringing my attention back to the dark path before us.
At least we're taking the bridge this time. It'll only take 2 days instead of double that, and the sooner this place is behind us, the better.
It would be preferable not to risk it. But time is of the essence. We don't really have a choice.
One of our allied villages, Hima, is being harassed by brigadiers, a band of ruffians. We don't have many guards to send as an assist, only Bemel and myself. The least we can do is arrive before we are too late to be of any use, okay? These kinds of squabbles happen often, but have to be put down lest they turn into a blood grudge or all-out war. The last we heard, neither option was that far off.
I can also see why they chose you to come out here.
Oh, he looks so pretty when he smiles. I glance at Bemel. An eyebrow raised, a slight smile plays across his lips.
You're always so calm and so serious. Nothing can get to you. You're the best choice they had.
A smile now tugs at my own lips. I would like to thank him, but that wouldn't be so calm and serious as he just described. And if that's how he sees me, I'd like to keep it that way. My lack of reaction only makes his smile grow, and he chuckles a bit before refocusing on the path. I do the same. It wouldn't be right to let my guard down in a place like this. Bemel appears to feel differently, however.
You know the town on the other side of the lake, though. It's not so similar to ours. If all goes well, perhaps we'll have enough time to enjoy the new area.
For the most part, I ignore him, nodding when applicable. Bemel is a talkative sort, and if chatting helps keep his worries down and his sword hand ready, I have no complaints. After a time, wow, look at this. These color choices and the atmosphere from the very beginning is very immersive. I enjoy it very much. Looking forward to see what happens next. So, after a time, the thick fog surrounding us begins to clear. A sleek wooden dock comes into view, and with it the sounds of water gently lapping at its sides. Bemel shifts beside me, stretching his lantern arm as far as it will go. He seems tense. Yeah, I feel tense too.
Someone's already here.
Okay. A young woman stands by the dock, eyeing us warily. Does she intend to cross tonight? Evidently, she has the same question. As we step up next to her, it's clear she isn't simply passing by. She's waiting. The stranger nods curtly to us. All these characters look so amazing. I love how all of them look. And I love the details, the lace scarf and textures, and yeah, they're so. The visual style of this game is wonderful.
Margaret.
Kika the Steadfast.
Bamile. Hello?
There's a stuffy silence. Margaret turns the gaze out across the lake, expression unclear. With not much to say, Bamel and I do the same. Okay, scary noises. Here we go. From here, the black surface of the lake looks disarmingly calm. Wind rushes across its surface, a sound like whispering. So there was no way around. We couldn't go around. We have to just cross it. Okay. Okay, let's cross the ominous lake. Though perhaps it actually is whispering. I concentrate, trying to place the difference, searching for breaks and rhythm. After a few seconds, I feel foolish. It doesn't matter what the noise is, whether I hear them or not. We are not alone. The Nixie are out there. A feeling that I can't quite shake tells me they've already noticed the little group of people on their shores. It feels hostile. My stomach sinks and I instead address Bamel.
Where is the guide?
Unless he's on the center island, or on the complete other side, your guess is as good as mine. It's dark as pitch out there.
Panic rises inside me. Panic I try hard to quell.
We can't cross without him, and we need to get going soon.
You can't cross with him either.
What do you mean? The woman behind us, Margaret, cuts in with something like a snort.
What?
I know the guide will be here tonight. I have already made arrangements with him to cross.
Okay. Bamel and I share a look. The woman seems haughty and willing to put up a fuss.
I have his word he'll take me today. It would be wiser for the two of you to begin the trip around if you're really in such a hurry. Or you can make camp here and wait for him to make the trip back if you prefer.
I don't need to turn my attention to Bamel to know he's riled up. I step in before he can say something rash.
Even if that is so, my companion and I must begin the trip tonight.
Margaret is unimpressed and opens her mouth to argue further.
We'll wait for the guide to arrive before coming to a conclusion about any of this.
She clamps her mouth shut, then lets out a sigh.
You can do as you like.
With the matter tentatively settled, Bamel moves away. His finger begins to tap loudly against the top of his hilt. He shifts from one foot to another, then groans.
What's that bastard even up to?
I almost visibly start, but manage to restrain myself. He probably doesn't know any better. I'm sure of that. It's not worth mentioning. Mentioning what?
With a mouth like that, you shouldn't even have the right to ask the guide to take you across.
Oh, she's sassy.
How ludicrous. He's faced far worse than a bit of foul language.
Do you know anything that's happened with this lake?
I know enough.
Margaret is clearly not convinced, but she shrugs and makes a show of turning her back to him.
The guide's father is Garvin the Exemplar. Garvin never accepted the guide as his son, all the way up until he died, in this lake. Your statement could be seen as tasteless.
Oh.
Bemel rubs the back of his neck, his face regretful.
My apologies to the guide. I didn't mean it that way. I never knew about his... well, that.
A smile spreads across my face, one I quickly wipe away. He really did just misspeak. The silence slowly stretches between the three of us, growing more awkward with each passing second. Margaret seems irritated and Bemel abashed. Okay, so our first option. You're quite informed, Margaret. I'm sure you are forgiven, Bemel. Or say nothing. I'm gonna reassure Bemel.
I know you. You are brash but not intentionally cruel. I'm sure all is well.
Bemel smiles and claps me on the back.
You're a good woman, Kika. Smart, too. You've never been here, yet you knew more of the guy than I did.
I know about Garvin, truthfully. Tales of his deeds were some of the only stories my parents ever told.
Is that so? You could tell me more about it sometime.
I pause, unsure how to respond to this type of request.
I would like that very much.
Yes, I wouldn't mind that. It must wait until after this trip, though.
Of course. We should drop this topic sooner rather than later, in any case.
I agree.
Even if there's no harm meant, hearing someone mention Garvin is probably difficult for the guide no matter what the circumstance. With the topic dropped, we each remain locked inside our own thoughts, not another word passing between us. Eventually, a small light appears on the bridge ahead, gently swaying through the foggy air. It gets closer and closer until it becomes apparent it's a figure carrying a lantern. That must be the guide, although I can't shake the ghostly aura it gives off. The figure steps onto the shore, but we wait for him to approach us instead of going to meet him. None of us are sure how close to the waters we can get before it is no longer safe. Oh, wonderful looking character again. He stops in front of us and simply stares.
Are you the guide of Sinlos?
The man nods. He has a sharp face and weary eyes.
Well, that's grand. We would like an escort across the lake.
Bemel motions to the two of us and Margaret approaches, a strange smile on her face.
Hello, it's good to see you again. I'm ready to cross, as we've agreed upon.
The guide turns to face her as well, face remaining unchanged. It must not be a lie. He would have had to say something otherwise. She really does have preference to travel with him. That's a problem.
Is there a way we can all begin the trip tonight?
Yes, I will allow all 3 of you to go. But with that many, at least one will die before we reach the other side.
Wait, what? What? One will die. I furrow my brow. It's a disturbing addendum and one offered with little emotion attached. Bamel glares back, asking without asking what we are supposed to do with such circumstances.
You should go around.
Yeah, why don't we? We could go around, it might take a bit longer. Again, we are in a hurry, but... The sentence hangs in the air, the second half unspoken. If you want to live.
We don't have time for that! There are people counting on us for protection. Why does she need to go?
He jerks a finger at Margaret, whose face contorts with anger.
I don't need to explain myself to you. My journey has already been put off once, and I was promised I could go today. I will be going under any circumstances.
She meets Bamel's eyes with a gaze of steel. He starts to speak and she cuts in.
An extra day or 2 shouldn't be that much of a problem for you. Whoever you're meeting can surely wait such a tiny amount longer. Patience is a virtue, after all.
The night is only so long, and if we're still on the bridges when the sun comes up, we'll all die as they sink back below the surface. If you don't decide soon, no one will be going.
Okay. I guess we are all going. But I mean, why one of us needs to die? Is the guide gonna, I don't know, sacrifice one of us? He seemed very sure that one of us is going to die. He scares me. We can see emotions on both of these characters' faces, but our guide's face stays very still. Very expressionless, I guess is the word. That feels like even more ominous. Just saying this, just putting it out there. The guide is dispassionate, stoic. Yes, precisely. I would almost feel something's wrong with him if I didn't share the trait myself. Bamel pulls me to the side, jaw clenched tight.
That woman isn't armed.
His voice is low. He darts a glance at Margaret.
We can easily get her to back off if we make this into an actual fight. After all, we have to go tonight, yes? If one of us really is to die, it'll be her. Would staying be a worse fate than her death?
I stare at the dog, refusing to meet Bamel's eyes, and try to keep my voice as level as possible.
We don't know her situation. This isn't a decision we can make for her.
What?
Bamel leans in closer, apparently having missed what I said. I remove the sympathy for her in my response when I speak again.
The guide won't accept something like that, I assume.
His face is grim.
Then what else do you have in mind?
First of all, you and I cannot split up. Either we both stay, or we both go.
Right. That's not a question.
I cross my arms, a hand on my chin. I have full confidence in my abilities and in Bamel's, but there's no reason not to believe the guide knows exactly what he's talking about. If we go, he might not be able to give the group the attention we each deserve. That would mean we truly would be putting Margaret's life at risk on top of our own. I believe we should go. Oh no, say nothing. I believe we should go.
I believe you.
that was time choice, the very first one. Oh no, I hope I made the right choice. Bemel's reply is firm. My steadfastness seems almost weak in comparison to its certainty. He addresses the guide.
We shouldn't waste more time. Let's shove off.
The guide slowly turns around without even a nod to show his agreement. Margaret stares at Bemel and me, something of a resolve in her gaze. Then she follows after the guide. At least she didn't insist we stay behind.
We should do what we can to protect her. It's our fault she's being put in even further danger.
Exactly my thoughts. We will take care of everything. Maybe I'm being naive, but I have no intentions of letting anyone fall victim to this lake tonight. Those monsters can starve.
I smile at him for a change, and Bemel eagerly smiles back.
We're lucky to have each other in this, I think.
He turns to follow the others across. I will protect everyone on this trip. I will. We will make it through this. I hope so too. Then I step onto the dock and join them. As soon as I step onto the wood, the temperature drops. The light of my lamp shines against the water's surface, as reflective as a mirror. Until we reach land again, death is only one small mistake away. Oh. We fall into line, with the guide leading the way. Margaret stays close to him and I behind her, watching to make sure she doesn't slip on the slick, wet wood. Bemel brings up the rear. Okay, so we're not using boat, but instead using like really long, I guess these are called docks or walkways. Each of us hold our lanterns in front of us, but it does little good. The fog is thick and nigh impenetrable, consuming the light as if hungry for it. Above the surface of the lake, it's deathly quiet. No longer is there the whispering wind nor the sound of water lapping against the shore. It's just our own mismatched footsteps and the sound of my quickened breathing. My eyes drift back to the lake, against my better judgment. It's no wonder there's not even the sound of water, with how still the surface is. It seems almost dirty, with the sheen of a black marble floor. I've heard rumors the water of Sinless is heavier, more difficult to disturb than natural water, that just the weight of its oppressive cling is enough to keep someone down, even without them